He's Rob Parker. He's the FS1 instigator, and I kind of want today. You know, when I bring Rob Parker on,
what's happening, Joy?
I get, even my friends are like, you know, you bring Parker on, and he's just a rabble-rouser, and I say, Rob is willing to say things that are not always in line with the rest. I don't agree with you very often.
Right.
But I was interested in your opinion. So let's start with this. Andrew Luck retiring. Were you okay with it?
I'm absolutely okay with it. When a guy, I think people, I get it. Your fantasy team, you're a Colts fan, you bought season tickets. I get all that. But when a guy wants to step aside and doesn't want to play anymore.
And banged up
and has a long list of injuries, I can respect it. And you know what? He has integrity too, Colin. You know how many guys would have stayed on the sidelines? I'm going to rehab.
Take a paycheck.
Take the money, right, and not really be into it. I don't want to be out there with anybody who doesn't want to give their all or who doesn't want to be there.
You know, I said this yesterday, and I'm just saying, if Cam Newton has another injury, does Cam want to go through rehab again?
Right.
If Aaron Rodgers breaks his collarbone, we cross his fingers he doesn't. Does Aaron want to go through it? Like, Cam's got a lot of interest. Aaron's smart. He's got a lot of interest. Andrew Luck's a global thinker. For some of these guys, they're not totally defined by football.
Not at all. And I still think that Andrew Luck.
Now, do you think he'll come back?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I really don't. And I think it's symbolic for the NFL that guys aren't willing to just give up their bodies no matter what. I mean, I do think that. Even though he has a lot of money, he's a smart guy. I get all those factors, but we're seeing guys now just say, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm out. I made some money. I enjoy playing football, but this is not going to be my life, and I'm not going to be broken down, and I can't play with my kids or wake up feeling bad for the rest of my life.
Yeah, listen, sports all change. In baseball, you love baseball. Rob, by the way, is a Hall of Fame baseball voter. He's part of my Herd Podcast Network.
Inside the Parker drops on Wednesday.
Yes. But baseball's changed. The general manager now hands the manager the lineup card.
That would have never happened 5 years ago.
You see, baseball managers were stars. When I was a kid growing up, like Tommy Lasorda, like Joe Torre was
right.
Sparky
None of them are stars
now, okay. And in basketball, Joy and I have watched this. You can't be a back-to-the-back center. Like, you can be Joker in Denver. You can handle the ball. If you're 6'11", you better shoot a shot. Anthony Davis is a great big. Where's your ball handling? Okay, and in football, players are like, I don't need a third contract. I can get out with $27 million in the bank. I like to hunt. I like to fish. I like to hang out with my kids and coach their teams. I don't need $50 million. I got 27.
100%. And I think it's going to be more of a trend as we go forward. And the CTE, the longer you stay in,
right,
the longer things can be bad for you.
Okay. Now, the booing. You have always been very much the voice of the fan. You've had a barber shop in Detroit since I've known you.
17 years. Sporty Cuts on 7 Mile Road.
My wife's from Michigan, so we've talked about that before. I sometimes can be viewed as a little bit of an elitist, but I back the fans on this.
I'm with you. I back the fans, and I think people have overreacted. If you're sitting in the crowd and rumors are floating around, you don't have all the information like everybody has. Your first reaction is, what? My quarterback quit? My season tickets are worthless?
Yeah.
The season's over? What is your first reaction?
Especially, you're in a Super Bowl window. Like,
yes.
It's not like you're the Lions.
And you're not going to win.
Your
right.
hopes are way up here, and the news is way down here. And you're angry.
Now, I was on the radio. I was working in Detroit on the radio the morning that Barry Sanders quit.
Oh, this is good. This is good.
I remember.
Tell me about
the outrage of the calls of people were just out. Barry was driving to training camp and turned his car around and said, "I'm not coming," and then had his his letter was sent to the Wichita Eagle. He didn't even talk to the Detroit media. That was his hometown paper or something, the Wichita Eagle.
Okay, so the fans were mad. What was because I remember even the media was tough on Barry back then.
Absolutely. And Barry, people came down on him because he wasn't hurt. There was nothing wrong with him. It was just out of the blue.
And he plays, unlike Luck, he's a running back.
Right.
They all get hit.
And the Lions, granted, weren't good, but still, people just said, well, where's this coming from? Like, this just didn't make any sense. And here's the other part. You want to talk about booing. Barry wound up disappearing for a while.
Yeah.
He finally comes back to Detroit. He goes to a Pistons game with his young son. They put him up on the jumbo board screen, and what do you think happened? The house booed the hell out of Barry Sanders. They were still, this was years later, like maybe 2 or 3 years later, that they still held a grudge against Barry just walking out on the team.
Yet we're crushing Indy fans because in the moment, 40% of them booed. If Andrew Luck announced tomorrow he wants to make an announcement to the city inside the stadium, less than 2% would boo. 72 hours later.
Right, no doubt about it.
So we're holding these Indy fans. Detroit booed Barry, and if I recall, the media was tough years later on Barry in Michigan.
Sanders about it. And the other thing, too, I think people lose sight. The word fan is derived from the word fanatic. So you have to care. That's why you cheer. That's why you boo. That's why you buy the paraphernalia. That's why you buy season tickets. You know this. People can't sleep after a bad loss. This is not a part of your life. Doesn't really matter, does it?
College football coaches will tell you most would rather play home games at night. Why? They like their fans to be drunk because they're louder. The Pac-12 is offering 9 a.m. games. Where's the home field to be? If you ask most coaches would rather play 4:30, 5:30, 6:30 on a Saturday night. Not that they want their fans falling over the rails, but a little social lubrication in the parking lot. People get rowdier the louder the day is. If you listen to sports radio in the morning, people are festive and loud. You listen to it in the afternoon, callers are calling, yelling at people.
Oh, right.
So this idea, stadiums, teams, everybody's encouraging fans, get loud and rowdy. Here's more Bud Lights.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense, and I can see why people will want it.
How about Gronk? I just said, Rob, players are retiring earlier and healthier. We've seen now Ryan Khalil come back, Josh McCown come back. Is it possible players will retire earlier, but because they retire healthier and younger, some will come back like Gronk and say, I didn't leave like an old rickety wheelbarrow. I can still play. I'm only 32.
Yeah, I don't think he's coming back. I think because he has a future with some other stuff. And if he goes and does the wrestling thing or, some of these other projects that he's in, Colin, you'll look at yourself. Do you really want to go back through all that? And if you're Josh McCown or you're a quarterback and you're just holding a clipboard, that's a pretty good gig, right? To hold a clipboard and make some money. And you're not going to play. You probably aren't going to play. So you just have to show up to practice early, leave late, right? Don't cause any problems, and you're good. But you want to be a tight end with all these guys draped on you and pulling you down and all the drills you have to go through? I don't think so.
Steve Berline did come out, said he loved Andrew Luck, but he didn't think the timing was great. Berline had the courage to go on social media, a place where the mob runs you over. It's an avalanche if you go against the grain.
That's Doug Gottlieb. Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to get I don't want to get in the middle of anybody's fights. But what did you make of Berline's comments? Does he make a point that the timing kind of stinks a little bit for everybody, including Andrew, but the team, the players, the blah, blah, blah?
I totally disagree with Steve Berline. When a guy is done, he's done, and he should bow out gracefully and not play any games. You don't want anybody going half speed, not committed to the situation. You don't want anybody on your show who's not going to give you his all.
Thank you.
If they don't really want to be here.
That's why you keep coming on.
That's right. I'm going to give you my all. You know it.
If you mailed it in 4 minutes in, I would just...
You'd be like, you know what? We don't need Parker. Come on, we could do something better than that.
No, I think there is a little bit of courage. I think we have to remember this with Andrew Luck. This was a hard announcement.
Yes.
I mean, seriously. You literally, honestly, that's a hard announcement.
And it wasn't even planned for then. It was planned for Sunday. So it was impromptu.
And the Colts did a bad job because that should not leak out. And they put him in a bad spot with him being on the sidelines with his teammates and the fans. That should have never, they should do a search and find out who leaked that because I think that they really did a disservice to Andrew Luck. He deserved better than that.
Yeah, I know that's a really good point. The leak was really bad. There's some things you just don't leak. It's not that hard not to leak. You sit down there with the owner and Chris Ballard, and you say, guys, I'm going to make a decision. Let's get all the contract stuff figured out. And then
And let's do it right. Let's let people be able to give you, you know what I mean?
So somebody, it wasn't Andrew Luck, somebody on the other side yapped.
It was bad, and I think that's why fans reacted the way that they did.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. Don't always judge like just a sample size and think that's everybody. I think everybody in Indianapolis knows what a great quarterback he's been. Yes, did they not win? They were 4-4 in the playoffs, but you know what? He still gave them a chance, and they were relevant because of him.
Oh, God, yes. Oh, look how long it's taken the Dolphins to replace Marino. It took them an hour to replace Peyton Manning.
You mentioned the Lions. How about if you're a Lions fan, Matthew Stafford's been there 10 years. They got no playoff wins. He was the number 1 overall pick, and he's got Hall of Fame stats. Go look at his numbers. But the big numbers are 0. Where would you want to be? I'd rather be an Indianapolis Colts fan who at least my quarterback gave us a chance.
Good point, Rob Parker.
Come on, nothing but good. I didn't know school started, so I'm back into that mode. At USC.
Very good work by you.
Thank you.
Rob Parker. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.